Beep, 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 beep. Looks like I'm in a hospital with the curtains above, but you see over here, IV stuff. It's me. Hi, everybody. Oh my gosh. Sorry as I get things situated here. I don't look my best, but I am feeling a little more rock star than cancer patient today. That's what I told the girls when I walked in. It has been a really whack week. And I don't usually use terms like that yet. It needed a word that is unusual for this week. If I look a little skinny, I don't think I've actually lost any weight, but I'm a little dehydrated because I've been throwing up. Not in the past day. We got it taken care of. Nausea medicine finally started working yesterday, but if it had been 24 hours ago, if I was coming to you on Wednesday instead of Thursday, it would not have been possible for me to smile at you. It would not have been possible for me to look or talk to you, in the way I am now, because I was just so, it's just, I described it once as having a 50-pound cannonball just surgically implanted into your stomach and having to walk around with it. It was just the most horrid pain. There's no way to describe it, so there's no reason to try. I have this one buddy of mine who experiences sensitivity to sound. And I was asking him to try and sort of describe the symptoms, describe what it's like, and what sounds trigger it, what levels of sounds, is there proximity? I was trying to get some more specific information, but all he really was able to do was get increasingly vivid with increasingly disgusting, violent images of stabbing yourself in the ear into the brain with your knife or something. It's obviously extraordinarily painful for him, and I get that, but I was trying to get specific, more detailed, just real as nitty-gritty info, just because I'm dying to know, so I can A, mitigate what I do that causes him pain, but B, I just want to know. But I don't want to. He's like, just think of a screwdriver being stabbed into your ear, into the brain. Just think of an icicle jamming into your temple. Just think of. I'm like, I get that imagery, and I guess when it's that severe, it's kind of like my nausea. There's just no way to describe it verbally, so it's really tough. But it comes from my own guilt, because he's hypersensitive to sound, right? Well, I'm a little bit of a boisterous boy, sometimes, and I can get a little loud with my presentation and or description or just chit chat. And I've tried to. I've certainly reined it in. I'm aware that my power of my voice is actually revealed in its quietness, right? I can actually be a lot more sort of interesting and descriptive if I'm not loud. But sometimes it's, if you're feeling it, if you're think about being at a bar or some kind of social, like a party, where you're talking, you're laughing, you're being loud, it's not bad to be loud and funny context. But I drifted off already. Where the fuck was that supposed to go? Oh no, I remember. I was trying to know how to mitigate my friend's pain while hanging out with him. And I was not able to get quite the specific information I was hoping for. I just need to keep it quiet. So I'm not happy about how I look. I'm not going to keep this to be a full-length broadcast or anything. What I wanted to do this week, as I planned the other day, was Friday morning. Big show Friday morning, me at my best, looking good, feeling good, and actually planned on what to say. I've not really done that here, but I wanted to kind of show you the infusion room here, because this is really kind of cool. They have, if you don't have a tablet for yourself, they have little tablets with medical information, and some of them have meditation sort of walkthroughs. You can 60-second meditation, or 5-minute meditation practice, right? Where you can just watch the girl on the screen tell you, okay, and breathe and hold and exhale. It's all very kind of meant to kind of, I think, not occupy your mind, but just help kind of train your mind to be a little bit more focused or whatever. As far as I understand that stuff, That seems to be the idea. And in a chemotherapy room, it's totally a great idea, a great addition. The only other thing I watched on these tablets on the wall, they do have certain movies. And the first one I stumbled onto that I was interested in was Legally Blonde. As embarrassing as it is, I was a gay boy and it came out. And I remember the boyfriend I was with seeing Legally Blonde in the theater and enjoying the hell out of it. And, so I was watching Legally Blonde going, God, this is really a good movie. It's embarrassing, but it is. I'm enjoying this movie. Yeah, here I am. This is the chemotherapy room. I have my little port. It's like a direct line into my blood vessels so that they can just, if they need blood, they can plug in. If they need something to go in. It all can be done without needles now, right? It's just a kind of an automatic access into my circulatory system. And I am so thankful. Everybody who you will talk to who has to have a port will probably tell you they are just extraordinarily thankful to be able to have it. All right. Well, I'm turning this around. Oh. Okay, well, I will say a couple of other things before I stop, just because I didn't really expect this to work quite so well, but it is. This is a place where I sit and I get the chemotherapy medication lined into me. It takes, depending on the amount and depending on the medicine, between like the longest is like 6 hours, which is a long time to sit here getting stuff dripped into you. But I think the slower rate makes it a little less impactful, a little less disabling to you. And also there are some side effects I think they can alleviate by doing it a little more slowly. This is poison going straight into your blood vessels. And so there are places along the bloodstream where the walls are thinner, right? You have big blood vessels and thinner blood vessels and then tiny little capillaries in your fingers and feet. And the capillaries have these weak walls. They're very thin. In fact, that's part of the design. If I understand right, the capillaries are part of the place where oxygen goes in and comes out of the red blood cells and stuff. I'm not a doctor at all, but I'm pretty sure that's right. Anyway, when your poison in your blood vessels from chemotherapy is traveling through to those thin areas, it can leak out. The same way, like the oxygen and stuff goes through the thin capillary walls. This poison is also capable of that. So they warn people in chemotherapy to be careful, like don't do dishes. Honest to God, the first thing I ever got recommendations for chemotherapy the day after was do not do any dishes. Because what you're doing when you do dishes are the same pressure, the same gestures you do in your hand. Pressure. You don't want to be squeezing things. You don't want to be watering the lawn with a squeezy hose extension thing, because you don't want to be squeezing. You don't want to be putting pressure on your hands near the capillaries at the time when the poison might seep out. Interesting, right? I just like any doctor's medicine or doctor's orders that say you cannot do the dishes. But that's a real thing. Honestly, the first day or two after the chemotherapy is extremely bad. For me, it has been nausea, right? And I think other people maybe have different reactions. And there's a million different medicines, but I've been trying to tolerate. I've now had 2 full sessions of chemotherapy, both of which really knocked me down for about a day and a half. Now, learning to ride the anti-nausea medications. Part of that is you can't take the pills because you're throwing up. So the anti-nausea medication, at least that first day or 2 after, has to be through the IV, which is fine. I got my port, hook me up, give it to me. But you do have to make it out of the house and down to the infusion room and sit in a chair for 6 hours and just let them drip it into you. And it does take about 30, 20 minutes to start affecting your stomach, to start relieving the nausea. And then you're kind of more human again. And you're like, okay, at least you're not feeling like you're actively dying, which is kind of what it feels like. This place here is amazing. They have volunteers who bring snack cakes. Yesterday it was little orange muffins with little orange jelly candies on top of little white frosting. Spectacular on any other day. I did try to eat the little orange jelly candy off the top with the icing of these little orange cupcakes that were just delightful. And I couldn't even do that. Just a little orange candy on top made me go, you know, because not like I was throwing up, more like Pepsid, indigestion herbs, right? That's what it was like. And it was the first food I'd eaten really in that day, just to see if something would taste good going in my mouth, because I'd been sick all night that night before. And it did for a minute, but then after that, it was about 25 minutes of not throw up, just like sort of indigestion, right? Just, oh, shouldn't have eaten that. Acid reflux, you know. But Pepsid is among the things. You want to see my whole thing? There's the bag. It looks like it's about half empty. One is the fluids, just hydration, because you need that. And then the other one is actually, oh no, I know, it's the anti-nausea stuff. They're giving me a second round of the anti-nausea just in case. Try and head it off. That's the idea, right? So, and they played. The funny thing is, they play on the speakers and radio stations that I used to work at. So I hear occasional voices of people I know, or announcers, or like even sometimes I think liners and stuff I used to play. I used to, but ooh, cool, you know. That's old. God, that's so much older than I was talking about. But you know, little things. When I used to work at that radio station, actually the radio station across the hall. Yeah, occasionally you're pushing buttons for your friends across the hall and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure some of those were things I had put my fingers on the computer at some point. It's just, now it's a reminiscence, right? Because I'm back in this place that plays the easy listening. And I even have friends who I think still work there. But it's nice to have a little bit of music on, and it's the right station for it, you know. So often it's like Living on a Prayer was playing the other day. John Bon Jovi. What was it? Oh, what were the fags from Australia? Stand with you on a mountain. I want to be with you in the sea. I love that group, and I can't think of their names. Blank. Oh well, it's not important. I clearly sang the song, so you know which song I'm talking about. And I was very respectful in my description of the fags from Australia, but I think they are. Anyway, this is all it is, unfortunately. I'm glad I have a device. I'm glad they offer devices. If you don't have a device, you can pull one up, read, and watch a movie, whatever. And they have, I think, books. Or, you know, people bring books. You're here for like 2 to 6 hours, generally, when you're here. So, they have very comfy chairs. They have a fridge stocked with OJ and cranberry juice. Like I said, they have snacks like Pop-Tarts and crackers and stuff if you're hungry. And I'm kind of more or less by myself today. There's only 1 or 2 other people down the way. There are days when it's really hopping and it's super busy. And again, one of the things I come back to, I'm not going to put anybody else on camera, obviously, but like occasionally there are people sicker than you know, and that makes me feel really sad for them, because I know how sick I am. And the past couple days have been as bad as I've ever felt in my life. But I was in here looking at people across the way who I think were worse off than me. Still. Seriously. And it's important to me to remember that, because, you know, I've not lost my hair yet. It's going to go. Guaranteed it's going to go, but not yet. And I'm lucky in that way. So far. We'll see. But different medicines hit different people different ways, and there are reasons to think that some, for instance, the information from the chemo drugs I'm getting, sort of the stuff they give you in advance on paper, actually did say that, you know, only 20% of people get this side effect. Only 25% of the patients get this side effect. So I'm rolling the dice. I would love for my viewers here, you, my friends, the people who I know kind of watch and know me, throw out ideas for what this hair should become, right? It's a little gross because I haven't really bathed because I can't sit in the bathtub, but like, What do you think? Mohawk? What do you think? Just shaven headed? Bald? I don't know what to do with it. I'd like to do something radical with it, at least for a little while. And there's a bunch of different radical ones, like sort of really big, right? With the long hair down here and then shaven underneath or whatever. Like, I don't know why I'm amused by that, but I guess I saw a sexy skater once who looked that way. I was like, damn, I want to do that. Radical hair day. And since it's going away, it kind of seems moot to not, I'm still in between my time off periods with work, so I don't really have to be on camera for my teaching English job, but I don't know. Didn't really mean to ramble for 30 minutes, but I just wanted to show you the inside of the room. And my little device here. Here's my device. And it just kind of counts you down. This box, I guess, actually just, it kind of meters the dripping of the liquid. And it can detect pressure, right? So if the liquid's not flowing through right, it can beep and say, hey, there's pressure building up, or there's an air bubble blocking something along the way, or whatever. It's a really sophisticated little gadget that sits right here next to me. And sometimes they have it dialed up, because sometimes there's more than one thing going in, sometimes it's just hydration, which I think today. But sometimes it's chemo plus hydration, plus anti-nausea, plus Pepsid, plus that. So, does it hurt? I feel like I want to answer that question a lot because it doesn't hurt. I mean, the nausea hurts. That's the worst it's been. When I have the sick my stomach feeling, that's by far the worst. But when it's going in, no, it's good when it's going in. In fact, there are times when it's very soothing. If you're dehydrated from being sick all night and you're starting to get some hydration into you that can stay in without being vomited, like that's really good. It feels like, and it's just kind of good. I don't think my weight is dropping. I'm looking at my face right now in the viewfinder going, oh, I look a little gaunt, a little skinny, and the unshavenness does not help, and the scab on my freaking zits does not help, but I don't know. I have been worse. I have been worse recently. So I just wanted to come on. All the nurses came in and were like, wow, it's like night and day with you. I'm like, yeah, I feel human. I'm feeling more like the rock star than I am. And hopefully, if I can have a few more days like this, maybe this will work. Here's the thing. To go back to my lesions, I'm trying to use words that don't gross people out. So when I say my tumors, I feel like that grosses people out. But I do have these lesions on my side, these lumps or bumps, right? One's in my armpit, one's on my side, just kind of, just right on the side there, like where your elbow touches your side. But under the skin, but outside the rib cage, right? So I could even pinch the area here, can you see? Like here, right? This is just my side. Around here is where my elbow would touch, and around here is where the lump would be if I were showing you that side. Why don't it get removed? Well, I'm going to the radiation guy today to look at that. So there is progress happening there. We may have some radiation done on these masses on my side because they're very uncomfortable. And, we can't do things like, what is it? We call it palliative care, right? We're not trying to extend my life. We're just trying to improve my life. Well, I'm having bad pain and I need to be able to sleep on my side. So we're going to radiate or surgery these things off the side. The downside, and this is going to get a little dark for a moment, because what they can't do much with is the same things that are in my lungs. I have these same kind of lumps that are on my side that are also in my lungs. Here's why. That's just where it goes. If you look up a lot of sarcoma information, you will find that one of the things that it relocates, right? It moves around in the bloodstream system, and it sometimes just takes up residence wherever it wants. And in my cases, it has been once on my shoulder, once or twice in my armpit, maybe even 3 times. And then now there's 3 little locations on my left side that are getting big to the point where they bleed a little. And, it's just like a big lump. It's not quite like a zit or a boil. It's bigger than that. But, they're just, we've all had nodules. We've all had kind of things under our skin, right? And this is just one that kind of just got out of control and got a little bigger. It's not golf ball size. It's not like it's that big. But, it's probably like marble shooter size, medium. And when it's growing, and it grows fast, this stuff. I've said that here before. One of the reasons we knew after my first surgery that it wasn't melanoma was because of the speed at which it grew back. They're like, we don't know what this is, but it's not melanoma because melanoma doesn't go back this fast. Interesting. The other thing, and I'll say this a million times till I die, several doctors are like, thank God it wasn't melanoma. You don't want any part of melanoma. Like, apparently this sarcoma is more treatable in any of the myriad ways you want to talk about. This is a little more easy to deal with than melanoma, and I think a little bit less positively fatal. I think it's weighing in here. But seriously, I think I've had multiple doctors wipe their brow in my face and go, at least it wasn't melanoma. Okay, if at least it wasn't melanoma, I didn't know to think of that. Like, I wouldn't have thought of that on my own. But if more than one doctor says it kind of that same way, all right, I'm down, All right, I'm going to wrap it up here just because this wasn't something I meant to do, but I wanted to because I had some time, and I wanted to show you the inside of my room here. It's a nice, peaceful room with these nice, comfy-ass chairs and tablets for anybody to watch whatever. I'd probably avoid porn, but, unfortunately in the chemo room, I don't think people are horny. Every time I see public pads or just devices like that, my first thing is, oh, porn. And not that I want to watch porn, just I wonder if anybody has. And maybe they're blocked or whatever, but like, I'm curious. I always wonder. I wonder how much porn's been watched on these in a chemotherapy infusion room. Free provided tablets. Oh, it has. It has. I know it has. What is this? No. This place is like the cleanest place. It's like inside a hospital. In fact, it's better than a hospital because I think it's all just for me, right? It's all for me and the people like me, cancer patients. And but they have this nurses station in the middle with these amazing nurses, like 6 of them, kind of all working at the same time. Big place over on the side with a fridge and food station. You can go get food if you want to munch. And I told them the last thing they need over there, because they have these signs, right? Like infusion station, nurse station. I told them the one they need over there is fry station. They need like a French fry machine. Because one patient next to me a couple days ago had, like, his wife brought him a burger and fries just to eat. And I sat here watching him eat burgers and fries going, burger, fries. Now, I went home that day and like just couldn't keep soup down, like it wasn't in my day that day to be eating burgers and fries. But it's inspiring to me that I'm looking at food going, oh yeah, it's like I still do want to eat. And food looks good to me. Food tastes good to me. And it's still getting hungry. Now, one of the problems with chemo, I'm learning, is this indigestion thing. It does something to your, I guess, good flora or whatever in your stomach, whatever's digesting the food. It makes it harder to do that, maybe. It just feels like indigestion is what it feels like, and gas. So when I'm having indigestion and gas, that's not really good. And I guess I have to look up exactly what it does to my digestive system, because right now that's kind of the hardest part, dealing with the indigestion and then the gas and then the nausea related to that too. Which by far, if I haven't mentioned it, the nausea is like the #1 hard part so far. All right, it is 5 till 10. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm glad to be able to be more a rock star than cancer patient. And Friday is the big show, actually. That's the show I plan to do. I have stuff written down. Like, I have game shows I want to watch. It's going to be a full-on sort of the sea bass. Thanks for watching. Hey, happy Friday. That's not Friday yet, is it? Thursday. And join me Friday. sarcomedy.com.